Welcome everyone to Get Marketing Savvy, the basics. I'm very excited to be here with you all this evening. So this is my 3-part webinar series that will take you through exactly what you need to do to get your marketing machine up and running and those all-important sales coming through. Now, before we get started, and I can just see people are still joining the webinar, just a few housekeeping things. So one is you'll see a comments box on the right-hand side where the webinar is, so feel free to pop any questions in there or drop me a line. You might want to put I say hello now so I know that everyone can hear me and everything's fine. It's a bit alien doing webinars rather than face-to-face, but that would be great. There's also on your webinar toolbar, just on the right-hand side as well, you'll see a hand. If throughout the webinar you want to ask me any questions, I will be pausing throughout the session as we go. So if you want to ask me any questions, pop your hands up and I will take you off mute and do my very best to answer your questions. I'm going to be checking in with you as we go. So there will be opportunities for you to interact with me, which will be great. Although I do have to say I'm not the most tech-savvy person. I always say to my team, like, I'm good at some things, but tech stuff really isn't it. So we will do our very best, and hopefully I will get to answer any questions everybody has. So, for those of you there, just type in a little message to say, hey, Rach, we can hear you, so I know that everything's fine, and I'll kick off. So you also know we've got about an hour to an hour and a half together tonight. I think that's how long we'll take to get through things, so we'll definitely be wrapped up within the hour and a half. We'll see how we go. And I'm also recording tonight's session as well, so you'd be aware that it is being recorded. So if you don't get a chance to take down all the notes or all the information, don't worry, because I will make the recording available to everybody who is on the webinar this evening. So you'll have it there. Hi Rachel, hearing you loud and clear. Chris, that's great. So everyone seems to be able to hear me fine, so I will just get going. Now, before I actually get into the content, for those of you who haven't actually met me and don't actually know me yet, I'm Rachel Watt, the founder of Marketing Key International. And I've been in marketing probably for almost 16 years now. I know for those of you who know me, you would think I was old enough, but yes, I've been doing marketing for a long time, and for the last 12 of those years, I've been a hands-on strategic marketing and business development consultant, coach, and mentor to an array of organizations from, blue chip multinationals such as Citigroup and Telstra and HBOS, here in Australia, in the UK and Canada, as well as consulted and coached, right down to 2-man band husband and wife's teams. So I've very much had the opportunity to work with a broad spectrum of clients, and, working with some of the bigger companies gave me the opportunity to spend their money and try all the techniques out and make all the mistakes I needed to make so I can actually perfect the formula for you guys here and get everything right. But I founded Marketing Key International, or MKI as I like to abbreviate it to, because it's a bit of a long name, because I really wanted to make marketing the way it should be for small business owners, simple, structured, results-focused, and real. We don't have the budgets and resources of the big guys, so for us it's about getting smarter with how we promote our services. And I very much believe, and you'll read it on the website if you've been on there, that marketing doesn't have to be hard, expensive, and only successful when backed by a large budget. There's heaps of low to no cost tools and strategies available to grow a successful business today. The key is just knowing what they are and, what we can do with them, which is why we're here tonight. So throughout this 3-part webinar series, we're really going to go through the key things you need to consider when marketing your services and growing a successful business. So I hope you're going to get lots of value tonight. That's what I'm here for. And of course, ask questions as we go along, put the comments in, and I will be checking in as we go. So before we get into the content, let's take a look at what is marketing. So there's many definitions for marketing out there, but my definition is getting consumers with a need to know, like, and trust you more. That is the absolute requirement for your marketing. It's building that trust so they will choose you over everyone else that says they do the same things as you. And the reason you're getting them to know, like, and trust you more is so that they will try, buy, and refer your services. So everything you do from the outset in your marketing is moving them to try you. You know, you want to build trust with them, give them a trial of your service to move them through that path to purchase. You know, the whole point of marketing is to take them on a journey, you know, and let them know that you have what they need, you know, that you're the ones that can solve the problems they have. So everything you do should be based on solving a problem or a frustration or a requirement that your potential client has. You know, in the mind of your clients, there's only two things, you know, they're asking you or they want answered is, so what and what's in it for me? So as we go through this process, by the end of it, you will be able to answer those two questions, but you've got to keep those in mind as well. You know, so everything you do should be based on solving that problem, you know. And people ask me as well in business, you know, they say to me, what's the difference between marketing and sales? And it can be a bit confusing. So I believe, and what we're going to go on this journey, is that marketing is about getting your potential client to knock on your door, to want what it is that you have, and the sale is about getting them to walk through and sign on the dotted line. So, you know, there's two elements in play when it comes to marketing and sales, but everything we're going to focus on is about getting that consumer to choose you over everyone else and knock on your door so that they'll actually walk through. You know, to me, marketing is a system and a formula, and if you do put all the pieces together, you can't go wrong. So let's start by putting those pieces together. And I'll just remind you, this is the basics. We want to get the foundations right first before we start building on them. You know, everything I do and everything I believe in marketing is about building a strong foundation for your business from which to grow. So if you can get those foundations right, then you'll definitely stand the test of time going forward. Okay, so now we know what marketing is. Let's take a look at the Get Marketing Savvy, the Basics Mud Map. So this is what we're going to focus on over the 3 sessions that we have together. So the first is we're going to look at what is an ideal client and why you need to claim yours. The second is how to create a brand to remember. You know, how can you get consumers to choose you over the guy down the street who says he does exactly the same thing as you? So how are you going to get that cut through? The third is how to attract more prospects to your business and create more income immediately. So this is, you know, probably the bit that everyone's going to be most interested in. It's where the rubber really hits the road, and we talk about how to build your list and get all the lead generation activity coming through so you're actually getting out there, driving prospects to your business and making those all-important sales. The fourth is you know, identifying a simple way to build strong relationships with your clients. You know, business success today is all about building relationships. People buy from people they like, so what is it that we need to do to make sure that we're staying in contact, building the relationship so they will try, buy, repeat, and refer? You know, we keep that trust going and the momentum with the relationship. And the fifth thing we're going to cover in our Get Marketing Savvy series is how to convert prospects into clients and raving fans. So this is the lead conversion. This is where we're going to look at the sale and actually, you know, getting them to come through the door and sign on that dotted line. And we'll look at things like how we can give them value and results in advance and what questions we need to ask them so that we can actually confirm the sale and then validate to our new clients that they have made the right choice in choosing your company or choosing us. So that's the plan for the 3 series or the 3 evenings that we're going to spend together. And tonight our focus is going to be on points 1 and 2. So what an ideal client is, an ideal client, and why you need to claim yours, as well as how to create a brand to remember. So does anyone have any questions before I go forward? I'll just quickly check the comments box. Nope, everyone seems fine. They're saying hello. Pop a question in there if you do. I'll just have a sip of water while you do that. Okay. Everyone seems fine. Let me just go through. Hello, hello. Yep, everyone's saying hello. Okay, so what is an ideal client and why do you need to claim yours? So this is about identifying the number one consumer for your business. So I always say, anyone who's even just spoken to me or heard me speak, I always say you can't be all things to all people. You have to narrow your focus and know who you're targeting. So, you know, your ideal target client, some people say it's your niche, some people say it's your avatar. It really is all of those things, you know, but you need to know that one consumer that you want to talk to. Do you know what I mean? That would be the best client for your business. So your ideal client could be the ones, for instance, who spend the most money with you if you're already in business. You know, they could purchase regularly or just be the ones that are lovely to be around and you just really like interacting with, or the ones that never complain or who refer you. They could be a specific group like coaches or doctors or students. So ask yourself as part of this process, you know, to describe the person that if you had 8 to 10 more of them in your business, life would be easier. Or if you don't have a business yet and you're just starting out, you know, ask yourself, of all the people I know or, you know, the competitors, the other people that are doing what I do, study their clients. You know, who do I think I'd want to be in my business, and just start there of building a picture of who that ideal client would be. You know, knowing your who, so this ideal client is your who, is the most important thing you need to identify when it comes to your marketing. And if you're going to have success in your business and success in everything you do with your marketing, you have to know who that person is, because once you know who they are, you will absolutely know where to find them and can talk specifically to them. You know, it enables you to invest your time and money more effectively and ultimately get better results. You can also tailor your message to them and speak directly to them. You know, I always say, you know, the way you would communicate, for example, or perhaps, I'm not sure, with your parents as opposed to a work colleague or a friend would be different, or the way you'd communicate with a teenager compared to a 70-year-old pensioner would be different. You know, the language you would use would be different. So, you know, normally when I say to people, you've got to narrow your focus and know who you're targeting, they sort of say, oh, but anyone can have my service. It's applicable to everyone. And I'm not saying, you know, to turn people away, but I am saying you have to know who that best client is, that if all of your customers were like them, you know, life would be good for you. So you can talk to them in their language and spend all your time and money in attracting those ideal clients. Now, if you bring others along with you on the journey, that's fine. But you've really got to narrow that focus so you appeal to those that are going to give you the biggest leverage and the biggest bang for your buck. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you're just, you know, throwing away your time and your money on those that are not even interested in what you have to offer. And it's such a shame when I see that happening, and I just think, oh, you know, that's where you're going wrong. And even if you're not spending a lot of money, the time and effort you're putting into it, like, our time is our most valuable asset. And, you know, where you can make more money, you can never get your time back again. So it's very important to know who your target client is. I've got here, narrow your focus and know who you're targeting. That is who your target client is. So, how do we find our ideal client? So the best way to do this is to interview a handful of your existing clients, if you're in business, that fits your ideal client profile. So here you would basically look at all the customers that you come into contact with and think, who are the ones that are just great, I love. And there's no right or wrong here. It's whatever's right for you. You know, they could be the ones that spend the most, as we said before. They could be the ones that are just fantastic to have around. You know, it's up to you. There's no right or wrong. If you're not in business, you can look at, you know, what the competitors in your industry are doing, or just people you think would make a great client, and ask them to identify the following, or you answer it for them, or do a survey. I always recommend like putting a survey out to a handful of clients that meet that ideal target profile. So you're asking them, where do they congregate and hang out? This is such a great question to find the answer to, because if you find they're all part of a group or a community, you want to make sure you get yourself along to that group and introduce yourself to them. You might want to advertise in, if they have any flyers or magazines, just be where your target clients are. What do they read? Where do they get their information? That's the second one. Are there any magazines or newspapers they read regularly? Again, this is such valuable information to know, because then it helps you know where you should be positioning yourself. For instance, everyone thinks that for social media they should be on Facebook and advertising there. But depending on who your target client is, you possibly should be, just going on Pinterest or tweeting, and Facebook should be a secondary strategy. But it's just, without this knowledge is power. Once you've got the answers to this information, you can really tailor the strategies that are right for your business and really hone in on, making your marketing dollars go a lot further by being exactly where they are. So the third thing to ask yourself is, what is their biggest frustrations? What keeps them awake at night? We all have those fears, and, we all have those things in our head that, we probably wouldn't tell our best friend. But just imagine you're sitting across the table from your ideal client and you're sort of saying to them, they're opening up to you, what are you really worried about? Some people, it could be their kids' safety or money, or, being able to pay the mortgage, or it could be an array of things. Or it could be, losing weight, or feeling good, or, dying young because they're overweight. Whatever it might be, find out what it is that really frustrates them and keeps them awake at night. What do they worry about? Equally, what excites them? What are they passionate about? What do they really care about? Again, knowing this information is really powerful. What do they do in their spare time? If they've got certain hobbies, or they like to do certain interests, that gives you the perfect tools to create strategic alliances and joint venture partnerships, because, you're partnering with people that service the same clients as you. And when we come on to our next week, onto our next session next week, we'll really look at those list building strategies and how to grow your list, and what they do in their spare time is really going to help you position where you need to go with that. And how do they like to interact? Do they like to read? Do they like to listen? Do they like to be face-to-face? And that'll tell you how you need to be communicating with them. And this is a really interesting point, actually, because I'm just in the middle of writing a book as the introduction to my Marketing Guru's Guide to Success series, and it's going up on Amazon, and it's started being published and things. And I was trying to decide whether I did print-on-demand books, or whether I did a Kindle or an audio, or I just really wasn't sure what format to start it off in. And then I thought to myself, this is not about me. It's always about my clients. And, the only two questions I have to answer is so what and what's in it for them. And when I checked in on my ideal client, my ideal client is female. They're time poor. They, don't have time to cart books around with them. They do everything and interact on their iPads or their Kindles. So the best thing for me to do was to put it as a Kindle book that they could download off Amazon, so that, when they're on the go, or they're traveling, or they get some downtime, they can read it. Otherwise, if it was a book, it's just going to sit on the shelf and not actually get read. But this way, I'm giving it to them in the format that they want. So it's very important to know how they like to want to interact with you. There's a million other questions you could ask them, but these are like the top things to really get a handle on, to find out who your ideal client is. So with these questions tonight or tomorrow, I just want you to spend sort of 5 minutes going over these. Do you already know the answers? If not, ask a handful of those who fit your ideal target client profile. Ask them the questions. You could call them up if you know them really well, or if they come in, if you've got a store and they come into your store, just simply say to them, can I ask you a few questions? And people like to help other people. They like to help small business owners. I haven't really had any clients come back to me and go, oh my God, no one wanted to answer my questions. They weren't interested. So, just ask them. People like to be heard as well. They like to give their opinion. So if you're showing that interest, again, you're showing that you're building the relationship, or depending on the nature of your business, you could email them. There's various ways you can deliver it, but the goal and the aim of the game is to answer those questions. And even if you only get 5 to 10 responses, it's still helping you build a picture of who they are. Also have a bit of a brainstorm with yourself or your team, or just think in your own head, depending on if you're, a one-man band or you have people around you, and get clear on who your ideal target clients are, or what you think would make up your ideal client, so you know how to be more specific and spend your time and marketing dollars more effectively. Because there's absolutely nothing worse than seeing, business owners doing this blanket strategy and trying to be all things to all people, putting all this money and time out there to attract everyone when, they're actually attracting the people that are not too interested in what it is they have to offer. So just take that bit of time. Bit of homework for you after the fact is to really work through this. And it doesn't have to be hard. Just keep it simple. Answer them yourself, or, like I say, talk to a few of your customers that fit the bill, or look at your competitors and go from there. And you might tweak and refine it as you go on, but it's just good to have that idea from the outset. Bit of an example for you, Volvo, I think they're a Swedish car manufacturer, Volvo, yeah, they are. They use this target market approach, and I love how they do their marketing. So their ideal client is a 34-year-old married mother of 2. So how do they cater their message to this woman is they emphasize safety, because they know that that's what she really cares about and she worries about. Is her frustration, or guess in a way, well, it's not a frustration, but it's what she cares about, is making sure her kids are safe and when they're out and about and looking after them. So they emphasize safety, and they make sure to buy advertising space in family-oriented magazines, or magazines that cater for mothers. So having that idea of who your target is just means you can be really specific with where you put your marketing energy, and it means you'll be much more effective as well. And if you know who they are and can talk to them in their language, again, you're going to resonate with them, and they're going to feel like they know you, because I think I've said it already, but people buy from people they like. So be the person that they like. Another example, and I've used this many, many times before, but it's just so, love this example. It's so powerful. Beauty therapy business in Sydney surveyed or determined who her ideal target client were, and surveyed them to find out, where they get their information, what they drive, all these different things. And from doing that, she discovered that, 80% of them drove European cars. So she approached the local Audi, BMW, and Mercedes dealerships and offered to give gift baskets to all the females who bought a car from their dealership. So it was a win-win for the car dealership, because it looked like they were giving this amazing gift to their new clients, and it was also great for the beauty salon owner, because the gift baskets were full of sample products from her salon and gift vouchers to use at the salon, as well as offers and everything. So they had to go into her store to redeem, and the results were phenomenal. Of everybody that got a basket, 80% came into her store for a service, and then went on to become ongoing clients. I can't remember the figures off the top of my head because I don't have them in front of me, but she quadrupled her client base, and her profits went through the roof. And she had to actually stop the promotion after 6 weeks because she was full to capacity. She even took on extra staff, but she just didn't have any more space to service those clients. And that was all simply from knowing who her core target client was and finding out a bit more about them, and then going to exactly where they were. So it can be very powerful when you do it correctly. Okay, so let's have a little check-in. I've been talking for a little while now, and I do tend to talk quite fast, or people tell me I talk quite fast. So this is your chance to ask me any questions. Does it all make sense so far? What's going on for you guys? So pop a comment in, or pop your hand up and I'll answer your questions. Everyone seems pretty fine at the moment. Okay, so everyone's been pretty quiet, so I will assume that you're all on board and happy and fine, and please feel free to ask anything you want. There's no question that is a silly question. Anything is welcome, or even something that's popped into your head or you want to share, feel free to do that as well. See what everyone's doing. Nope, everyone's pretty quiet on the question front at the moment. Okay, so I will just keep going. We might actually be finished here within the hour, which, will be good. But please feel free to put any questions in that you might want answered. Okay. So next, we're going to look at how to create a brand to remember. So how to stand out from your competitors and attract more clients. So yeah, like my little gold man image here, you really want to be the brand that the consumer is choosing and their absolute first choice. So as I've got here, you never get a second chance at a first impression. So it's vital for business success that you stand out from the crowd and are able to articulate why your prospective client should choose you over someone else that says they do the exact same thing as you. You need to find a way to differentiate your business from the competition that matters to your target client so you become their first choice. So that's where understanding who your target clients are and what they value and care about and want is so important, because you can then tailor your messages and your brand and positioning around being the person that can, solve those needs, wants, and frustrations. And one way I say to do that is to use your personality to phase out the rest. Everyone's an individual. There could be, I just gave a presentation earlier in the year to the National Celebrants Association, and, I said to them, you could be 100 of you in the same room, all celebrants, all offering the same service, all priced at the same price point, but people, will gravitate naturally to people they feel that they resonate with or they like or they just get a good vibe from. They'll really, just judge it. I don't know if you've ever walked into a room and you don't know anyone there, but you just immediately sort of know the people that you think you could, gravitate to and the people that, you might not necessarily immediately connect with, and there'll be certain areas that you'll go to accordingly. So this is where using your personality to phase out the rest is so important and gives you that competitive edge, because if you don't, there's a potential that you could end up competing on price, and the first thing people will do is say how much, and if they do that, you're on to a losing battle, because there's always going to be someone out there willing to do it cheaper or faster, and especially with the web making the worldwide market easily accessible these days. You can go overseas and get pretty much all the services we can here, but you've got to have that personal touch on there to say why they should choose you, rather than having that competing on price. So your personality is the greatest differentiator here, because people will definitely buy from people they like. So I always say try and be a character worth following. So this could be different things for different people, but if you're fun and outgoing and your ideal clients are fun and outgoing and they're looking for that energy and engagement, then they will naturally gravitate to you. So whatever you say you stand for in your business, or whatever the personality you say you stand for in the business, you've got to make sure that when you commit to it, you walk your talk. So, and have that all-important congruency and consistency across all you do. So if you say, you're the fun accountant, or I don't know, like whatever it might be, and you've had a bad day at home, or you've fallen out with your wife, or your kids are doing your head in and you haven't had any sleep, as soon as you walk into your business or you engage with your consumer, you've got to put that fun hat back in, because they really will resonate with, consistent messages, they're buying from people they like. So you have to have that congruency and consistency. So no matter what's going on, if you say that that's what you are, you've got to walk your talk and have that resonate from everything you do. So how do you create a brand to remember? So as I've said, be a character worth following. And the second thing is position yourself with a unique selling proposition. So this is your message or what you want to say to your audience. It's the big, bold promise you're making to your targets. It's really important to get clear on your message. Even if you've got a variety of services or products, there's usually going to be a central theme to what you're about, and you would pull that out as your message, and it'll not only resonate with you, but it'll resonate with those target clients as well. So for myself, I sort of create a lot of different products for different people, but the ultimate bottom line is I help business owners grow their business using simple, structured, results-focused and real marketing techniques. That's my message, and it radiates in everything I do. So I'll always come back to that, is this structured? Is it simple? Is it going to get them results? Am I keeping it real or, going too far left field? So I always come back to that. And as I said, it resonates across everything. So yours should be no different. If you take an example put out there, if you take Virgin for an example, I know they're not a small business or a bigger company, but it's quite a good example of how you can give your business a personality. So they have great branding. Everyone knows that they are fun, they're irreverent, they're a bit adventurous, and they do things that little bit differently. And I remember someone pointed this out to me, so I had to just go look for myself. So next time you're at the airport, you go look for yourself as well. But basically, if you fly with Qantas and you go to the check-in desk of Qantas, and those stands where it sort of says your bags have to fit in here. So Qantas is very formal and very professional, and it says, one bag per person on cabin luggage or take-on luggage, whatever it is, and they say must be these dimensions and fit into this, and there's all these rules, and they're very proper about what you can and can't take on. I don't know if they follow it to the T, but there are little signs there. Then you go over to Virgin, and their language and tone is so different. They basically go, you know what, we don't care what you take on the plane as long as it fits in here. You know what I mean? There's no formalness. It's just like, kind of do what you want, but it's got to fit in there, else you can't take it on the plane. It's just a totally different way of expressing it and, articulating it. So when it comes to branding your business and having that character and that personality and coming up with your unique message, really think about how you want to communicate and what you want to do. So to do that, you would ask yourself these 4 questions. So what does my brand stand for? What am I all about? What's your values? What do you even care about? What's your business care about? What are you in business to do, and why do you exist? I'm in business to alleviate the perception that marketing is hard, expensive, and only successful when backed by a large budget. I exist to make marketing the way it should be for small business owners. Simple, structured, results-focused, and real. I really know why I'm here. And I have that vision for my business. It's very important, before you even embark on this journey, that you really get clear on why am I doing what I'm doing? And where do I want to go? What's my vision here? Why am I existing? The third thing is, what makes me or us different to the competition? We all know that there's heaps of people out there that do the same thing that we do. There's hundreds of people in my industry teaching marketing and different things, but what is it that makes you different to the competition? For me, it's the fact that everything I do is structured. It's a system. It's based on laying the solid foundation. I'm also being a hands-on practitioner. So many people in my industry has just learned from other people in the industry and doing it. But, for me, it's the education. It's the actual walking the talk and doing it. That's what makes Marketing Key International different to the competition? So what is it in your business that makes you different? I know I had a consultation with a client this week, and they said, well, we give good service and we're fast and we're friendly and we're affordable. I said, no, they're all really great. Like, you know, you want those qualities to be in your business, but, you know, that's a standard expectation from a client now. So what's that over and above different things? You know, because good service is a standard. So what can you do to go over and above that and, you know, exceed expectations, take it to the next level? So once you know, what do I stand for? What am I in business to do? What makes me different? You'll begin to get a picture of, you know, what you're doing and why you're here. And how can I stand out? You know, how can I be the obvious choice for my prospects? So this could be, you know, in your logo, your colors, the language you use, the way you position yourself. You know, take Virgin again. Their brand is so strong that if you were to cover up their logo, you still know it's Virgin. Their red is so strong. The language they use is so strong. Apple's the same. You know, Apple doesn't even say the words Apple anymore. It literally is just the icon to recognize their business. Now, I know that's taken them a long while to get to that point, and they're big companies, but you can do the same thing here. And I think having that cut through and standing out is, you know, crucial to having the consistency. An exercise that I get my clients to do, and I really recommend you guys do it, is if you're in business and you have, you know, marketing collateral, or you have invoices and templates, business cards, whatever it might be, flyers, lay them all out on the floor and, you know, look and see, are they consistent? Do they all look like they're coming from the same company? You know, am I using the same colors? Is it obvious? You know, consumers react very well to consistent messages and representations, so you want to make sure that you have that in everything you do. So answer those questions. From those questions, your unique selling proposition will naturally fall out. You'll see, you know, consistent things coming out, and that's how you can position yourself. And this is where answering these questions and getting that USP out is where knowing your ideal clients really helps and makes a difference, as well as knowing what your competitors are up to. You know, I see a lot of services businesses, so like accountants and things, and if I was to put all the local accountancy logos on, you know, the same page, they all kind of look the same. They all kind of, you know, have their standard blues and reds and, you know, kind of corporate feel colors. But if you know that's what everyone else is doing, what color should you be to stand out, to really capture their attention? Do you know what I mean? If you're targeting females, you might want to go towards a more feminine color palette, or if you're targeting, you know, males, you might want to keep it a bit more masculine and corporate. It's up to you, but you know, knowing what your competitors are up to really helps. You know, I did a little exercise the other day where all the search engines, you know, like Yahoo and Google and all the engines where you can actually collate information online, and got all their logos, and Google have nailed it. Like, they've just taken the primary colors and made it so simple, but it makes a big impact, and they really stand out, and I guess that's why they're the #1 search engine. So yeah, this is where knowing those ideal clients are really important, and also what your competitors are up to. And also, you know, don't be scared to be the specialist. If you're an accountant, for example, and your ideal client, or the one that you believe is your ideal client, they always come to you to get the tax done. Well, say you're a specialist in tax. Don't be scared to niche yourself as that tax specialist, because then you'll be more likely to appeal to them. If you know that client just comes to you for tax, then be that for them, and then offer your other services on the back. You know, if you're a lawyer, but your best clients come to you for, I don't know, they've been recently divorced or separated, and they're coming to you for, you know, family law advice or whatever you would call that, say that you specialize in that. We specialize in family law for recently separated or divorced individuals. We can help you through these tough times and be that for those people. So, you really don't be scared to be the specialist. And once you know all of this information, put it into action and you'll definitely have a brand to remember. So, just clarify the steps. We've got clear on who our target clients are. We have a brand to remember. We know what we stand for. We know what we're in business to do. We know what makes us different. We've got an idea of how we can stand out from the crowd. And now we want to move into having an image to match our message. And this is where the creativity really comes in. So, again, what should your logo look like? And don't be scared to make it that little bit different, as long as it's legible. I see some businesses out there, and they do this fancy logo, and it's got swirls and squiggles, but it can't be transferred onto the website. Like, it's not readable on web format, or when they put it onto their really small business card, it's all squished up, and you sort of miss the point. So make sure it's legible. As well, your color palette, fonts, everything like that. Have that image to match your message. So, once you've gone through this process of knowing what your target clients want and then knowing what you're in business to do and creating that brand to remember, have a look and see if the image that you've got out there at the moment is resonating with all of that and matching what they say. So the creativity is really important, and for this part I would engage a professional and get a graphic designer on board to help you through that process. So have an image to match your message, create a brand to remember, and you really will be onto a winning formula. So let's have a little bit of a check-in and see how everyone's going. So I've been talking for a good 40 minutes now, so how's everyone going? Anyone got any questions? Is it all making sense? You pop your questions into the little question box, or pop up your hand, and I'll answer any that you might have. Once I find my questions box, because it's just dropped off my little screen. This is where I told you technology and me don't go hand in hand. Nope. Everyone seems pretty quiet tonight. So is that because it hasn't made sense, or it has made sense? For those who are there, how you all going? Okay, everyone seems fine. So just to check in on what we have gone through this evening, we have basically looked at what an ideal client is and why you need to claim yours. So don't try to be all things to all people. Really narrow your focus, know who you're targeting, and make sure that all your marketing and communications material centers around talking to that one person or that exact client. Imagine yourself sitting across a table from, your dream client, and knowing all the insights into what they care about and what they value and where they get their information. Imagine you're having a conversation with them and they're telling you everything you need to know to be able to successfully market to them. So get really clear, and then that will definitely make sure that you're looking for them in the right place, you're targeting them in the right place, you're actually, putting your business where they are, and then you'll get much more leverage and bang for your buck. We've also talked about how to create a brand to remember, and that really is about getting clear on what you're in business to do, how you can stand out from your competitors and attract more clients by being that character worth following, using your personality. It's the number one way to differentiate your business, because people do buy from people they're like. So make sure that you be that character worth following and position yourself with a unique selling proposition. So articulate that big, bold promise that you're making to your targets so they know what you stand for and can resonate with you. And once you've got all that done, it's not down here tonight, the next thing you need to do is determine what you actually want to say, and then have a compelling offer that's a match. So, you know, what's going to get them to take action and sign up to your list, and that will be what we focus on next week. You know, all those list building strategies and ways to grow and engage with them and get those all important clients coming through and money. So if no one has any questions, that actually concludes what I had to talk about this evening, those two areas. And like I said, next week we're going to be focusing on how to attract more prospects to your business and create more income immediately. And this is where the rubber really hits the road, and we look at all of those strategies that are available to you, the low and no cost strategies to really get that happening. I can't see any questions from anyone. Anyone got any questions? No? Okay, so our next session, Get Marketing Savvy, the Basics Part 2, is going to focus on how to attract more prospects, so your lead generation and your list building strategies. And it's going to be on next Wednesday, 17th of October, commencing at 7 p.m. So just stick around for another, 5-10 minutes. And if you do have anything you want to ask me, please feel free to do so. I really appreciate everyone being here with me tonight and taking the time to listen to what we have to say, and really, committing to their marketing and about getting savvy with what they're doing. And this really is the crucial foundation steps. If you can get a solid foundation in place for your business and really know this information from the outset, it's what you're going to be able to build on and grow and get the leverage and the bang for your buck. And then the strategies that you actually implement to go out and capture those important clients are going to be the right ones. So thank you very much for being here with me tonight. I've really enjoyed telling you, about your target audiences and creating your brand. I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes to answer any questions you might have, so just let me know, and we'll go from there. I've got some, hi Rachel, hearing you loud and clear. Thank you, Rachel. All makes sense so far. Could we receive a copy of the slides? Yes, you definitely can, Eleni. What I'm going to do is I've recorded the session, so I'm going to make them available to you at the end. So I'll email them through to you tomorrow or Friday at the very latest. So you'll have the slides and all the audio as well. Oh, Sonia, you're welcome. I'm on iPad. Cool. Thanks, Rachel. It was really good. Can you see my comments? No, I was really computer illiterate and I couldn't see everyone's comments, but now I see them all now. Really sorry. Yeah, I'm usually like the guest speaker on the webinars, not actually running them myself, so it's really funny to be actually doing this myself. And Amanda, who set this up for me, is just going to be like, she coached me on how to look at the questions and look at everything, and I just figured it out right now, so sorry about that. Let me see what everyone else is saying. Looking forward to next week. Cheers, and have a great rest of the week, Tamara. Thanks, Tamara. Thanks for being there. Carrie Hayes, looked a bit late. Able to see the website. Yep, Carrie, no problem. I've recorded it. You will be able to, I'll send that out tomorrow, and you'll be able to see the slides and listen to it in your own time. Christine, we're nodding and going, aha, Christine and Ross. Well, that's good. That's what we like. Awesome, guys. Thank you. And sorry I didn't see a lot of your comments before now. I will be much more tech savvy next webinar. But thank you for a great session. I will definitely email through the slides and the audio, and look forward to seeing you next Wednesday when the another invite will come around for you to register. And again, if you can't make the session, you will get emailed through the details. That's fantastic. Okay, have a great night, guys. If there's no other questions, I will say goodbye for now. Thank you.